So I just got here this morning, saw a truck for plumbers. Looks like they're doing some last minute stuff. Cabinets are getting put in. I heard that the in-floor heating, that stuff's getting connected today. So it's a bit noisy in here, but they are starting to get some lights in. I think it's probably just so they can see because they're doing paint touch-ups. But here in the pantry slash mechanical room, they have got the hot water heater started. I think that's why the plumbers were here. They were getting that going. I think they're doing some other things in there too. And then out here in the kitchen, they're starting to get the cabinets installed. We were talking earlier about behind the sink, getting waterproofing that, so that's going. They're gonna do some backsplash with some tile there too. And it looks like they got dishwasher, I think, there. But like I said, fridge is gonna go back there. We're gonna have some floating shelves and stuff. So they're moving along really well. Just glad to see all this progress today. And then over here in the guest bathroom, a lot of progress done in here. We're a little bit behind on tile arriving here, but it should be here soon. And then they've got toilet in. That is like a concrete countertop on there. And then we're gonna have a sink set on top of that. So we have some tile here. I was told this is for the backsplash for the kitchen, so makes sense. We were talking about waterproofing that and getting that all sorted out for tile, and here it is. All right, so they are working on the master bathroom too. So they've got this vanity going in. We're trying to decide backsplash, tile behind there, what we're gonna do there. They've got, this is the tub. It's kind of like a sitting tub. I don't know, it's like, it's more high in the back. So we're gonna be fitting that in there. Toilets in there. I think that's been ready since last week for the bath, for the shower area. Master bath is going real well. Got our makeshift painting area here in the bedroom where they're doing all their trim and doors and stuff, getting painted in here. So that way we can get them out and looking good. I guess everyone's taking advantage of this warmer winter. We got a couple neighbors over there building too. Got one there, one there. Really looking forward to spring, all this wet mud that's sinking in all the trenches that I've dug. I'm really looking forward to getting that backfilled, get that nice and level. Spring is the time to get stuff planted and stuff. So, I mean, it feels like spring now. We're in February now, and I'm out in a short sleeve shirt. And I mean, I'm not complaining. Wish there were more snow for the slopes, but I'm liking the warmness right now. They are working here in the pantry mechanical room again. They're getting the broiler for the in-floor heating hooked up. They made a mistake. They were supposed to connect this manifold with a manifold in the breezeway, so they're having to run a line. They're having to like pull up some flooring and run a trench. It's not a big deal. It's just, you know, they have to redo that, so we'll remember that next time. And then over here they're getting the box in for the wood burning stove. So that's where they have that cut there. And they got a spot out there, right there, lined up for it. They're outside doing their stuff on the roof, but that should be in very shortly. And then here in the guest bath, so of course, Lindsay doing her thing. She's liking the color green. She's got that mainly in here. And then she comes in here and she's like, these lights aren't that bright, but she likes these fixtures enough to where she's not gonna change them. So now we're thinking we might have to put another light in here just because it's really dark, and it's gonna be a lot darker because these walls are gonna be wallpapered with like a greenish thing. That's gonna be tiled back in the shower with a green tile. And yeah, these lights are kind of just north and south light. They're just not like really emitting a lot of light to the room. So now we're looking at maybe possibly putting in another light. So we'll see how things go. And then here in the master bathroom, I think we decided we're gonna tile from the base up to about these lights, I think, maybe a little bit higher, because there's gonna be a mirror up here. And just like I said, with the corners, it's just gonna be a little more difficult with, you know, the spacing and everything. So I think the tile is gonna make it look a lot better. Then another thing that we noticed with the cabinets, all the drawers, all the pull-out drawers, they're just a flat front where all the doors, they're framed. So that's something we didn't even think about. So now that they're here, we're gonna have to replace these faces, which isn't that big a deal. They sell different faces, so we'll just get them all framed like that, get those all looking uniform, all the same. So it's just all the little things you don't really think about when you're building, and then you get them in, and then it just happens that you gotta figure it out on the go. So they got the inside of that hooked up for the wood burning stove right there. That's gonna be where the chimney goes out, and then the wood burning stove is gonna be right over there, kind of underneath that ladder. Outside here, that's where it comes out and got the, I guess, chimney out of there. So that looks really sweet. Gives some different levels to the roof. And then update on this, it looks like they've got that little trench there for where they're going to be able to put the PEX line over to, that's going to go out into the breezeway to where they can hook up the manifold to the other one. And he was saying taking this little, little bit out of the rafters, truss, whatever they are, for the floor isn't going to be a big deal. They've built this thing up so well, it's not even going to move. So this little notch out of it's not a big deal. And then over here is where that comes out of that wall. So from the floor up there, it comes down over here and then over into here. Then they're gonna run it down to the other manifold. That's where that comes out right there. But they're gonna patch all of that. They're gonna make a little, it's gonna have to like 90 degree here. So it's gonna stick out a little bit, but they're gonna create like a little box that puts over it, goes over it, and it's gonna look just fine. They started working on the countertops. We are just doing like a butcher block here. And it's funny because all the angles with the house and stuff, it doesn't look square, but it is, I promise. They've been working hard on that. They've got the hood in for the range that's going in. They're actually bringing the range in right now on the lift, coming around the corner right there. But that's gonna be going in, the range is going. They've got that piece of PEX that I was telling you, the PEX pipe going up there for the in-floor heating, and yeah, lots of stuff going on. So there's that. The PEX line is gonna run right along there, through there, out to that little breezeway area. So originally this was gonna be a pantry, but then we had to, due to lack of space, throw the mechanical stuff in here. And in the process of that, we kind of forgot, like, we need to put cabinets and stuff like that for storage of the pantry, whatnot. So back in here, we're gonna put a bunch of like floor to ceiling cabinets. And over in this corner, over here, there's gonna be a fridge. So if we have to, we'll add other, probably like rolling cabinets or, shelving units. But I think it's gonna be enough if we just do some deep cabinets over there. They have the wood burning stove installed. We do have the in-floor heating, but it's just gonna be nice to have the wood burning stove in here just for the ambiance and whatnot. And they got the outside portion of the stove all done. They got that braced up there and the snow and rain stop above it. So that's looking good. They're gonna come back another day to kind of give me the run through of how to use the stove and everything, but it's looking good. Building a house, ordering parts, everything gets kind of confused sometimes, and even when you get it, things don't work out. So we found out that the shower system for the master bathroom was wrong because we got one with like an extra little handle, and that wasn't going to work with the tile, so we're returning that. We're returning another valve. And then we found out the range that they sent us is actually the entirely wrong range that we ordered. We ordered like a white range with like a bronze accent to it, and they sent us a silver, like stainless steel range. And we're going to send them some pictures and try to get that solved, but it looks like things are going to work out in our favor. So this is the one that it's going to get going. We're going to ship that back and get the one that's going to match everything. And then here we went with the butcher block countertop, and it looks like he's got that pretty well done. Got everything lined up. Looks like he's got some oil on that. Pops really good. That's where the sink's going to be. And that's the black farm sink that's going to be set in there. This is the in-floor heating. So that's been going really well. Up there is actually where the stuff that we had to run upstairs is going. And then that's where it goes down into the concrete to heat up the floor. And we did get word back from our electrician that it's gonna be not too difficult to run a light back to the shower area, just because this place is gonna get a lot darker with all the green that's going in here. So they're gonna be able to, I think, just fish a line over there and pop it out over the shower area. All right, so they started tiling the kitchen backsplash here. It's kind of hard with it being as bright as it is, but they're gonna get all of that around there, and then they got that going over there. Now, Lindsay thought this was a little bit more green. It ended up being a little bit more like a aqua teal kind of stuff, but we're gonna make it work. One thing we did notice with as many corners and angles there are, it was to our benefit just to stack them up on each other instead of offset them. And then an update with the range. We've been talking to the company who sold it to us. There was a little bit of pushback with trying to get that sorted out. But at the end of the day, we told them, hey, look, we ordered a product. This, crate came, it had what we ordered on the outside of it. There was no reason that we would think it's anything else, and it's not the product that we ordered. So I get, it's months after, the cutoff date for when we should have returned it. But at the end of the day, like, they need to make it right because it's not the product that we ordered. So I think they're escalating it to higher ups, and I have a feeling things are going to go well and easily transition into what we actually ordered. And then back here with the in-floor heating system, you can kind of see those pipes up there are pink. They're starting to get all of this material in there for the in-floor heating. And it's just crazy the amount of work that they've done just for this singular system. I know it does a lot, but it's just quite a bit of work. And then you can see over here, this is the breezeway manifold that it all connects to. And I believe that feeds the smaller yurt in the breezeway area for the heater. But those tubes here on the side come from the other one to this one to feed in to all of that. It's warm today. All the snow's gone. It's making me feel like I need to start getting ready for spring and planting, but living up on the mountain all this time, I've never, gotten stuff ready because I don't really know when planting's going to be available. But now I'm going to have to start thinking about all of that and start getting seedlings ready. The big thing is going to be planning where I'm going to put stuff, if it's going to be raised garden beds, if I'm planting on the ground, like how everything's going to go. But we'll do an episode about that another time. As you can see here, the tile guys were back. They are almost done with this. I'd say they got one more day and a bunch of grouting to do, but that's looking good. They got it over there behind where the stove's gonna be, and then finished off over there. And luckily we got the other tile for the master. I'll show you that. This stuff over here, it's kind of like a terracotta. That's gonna be the back side, and that's what we're gonna see. But it's gonna be fun to clean. But we got that, and then we got this stuff here, more tile to be put in there. We did hear back from the stove company. They are going to send us the correct stove. No problems. They're going to pick up the one that they sent by mistake. They're going to send us a new one. It'll be 2-3 weeks. So it should be here before we get fully moved in. But just thankful that they, came to that conclusion and it's not going to be any issues.